was at Portland Meadows. I was playing 136 1K cap game. And we were playing kind of just the always nit game. It was like the nit game, and then it would go through the nit game, and then we start the nit game again. You know, how that
goes. Just for everyone who's unclear what the nit game is, why don't you give a quick 10-second refresher?
The nit game is where everybody gets a button that says nit on it, and the last person to win a hand and lose their button then has to pay a penalty. And in this case, the way we were doing the penalty was they would put $150 in the pot for the next hand.
Okay.
So it was a splash pot nit game. It was also slightly progressive in that if you lost twice in a row or 3 times in a row, you add $50 each time that you lose. So if you lost twice in a row, it's $200, but that's rare. There's 9
hard to
players
lose
at the table.
2 or 3 times in a row, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we were in this nit game, so $150 penalty if you lose the nit game, meaning the other guy wins before you. And I was one of the 2 remaining players in the nit game. So I'm often going to have to pay a $150 splash pot. However, it's been a good session so far. I have about 3,000 in my stack. So things are going well. I'm in the cutoff. And the other bad thing for me is that the guy who is also in the nit game is in the hijack. So he's got, or opposite. I'm in the hijack, he's in the cutoff.
There we go. That's
so he's got position on me every time, and it kind of sucks.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, 136. I have deuces, which is like a miracle. It's like, oh, I have a hand I can actually try to play.
Yeah.
2 black deuces, and I opened a 50, which is obviously bigger than my normal size.
Of course.
The situation.
End it right now.
Of course, the guy doesn't.
He can't fold, right?
He calls. He has 1,400 in front of him.
Okay.
We could debate if he should 3-bet or not, but it's an interesting strategic spot for sure.
I think it's fine for him just to call with a lot of his very poor hands. He's in position. Yeah. He's not just going to concede the pot to you this way. I like a call.
He can't fold because if everybody folds, he owes 150 the next hand.
Might as well put 50 in and give yourself a shot at not paying the 150. Yeah.
Right.
3-betting is not terrible either, though, because 3-betting, like you're saying, it shuts everyone else out of the pot. You're rarely going to fold to a 3-bet, though, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of the time, because it's more expensive, but you're still rarely going to fold. Anyway.
I mean, if I were him and I were 3-betting, I would probably go kind of big.
Of course.
Like, deuces is just going to be like, fine. Like, but you have to understand that you're also paying the extra 150 if you lose. It's all weird math. It's fun and interesting.
Yeah. All right, so he calls.
He calls. This guy is like a regular, but he's not a pro. He's like a successful businessman who doesn't care about the money, but he cares about the competition type of guy.
Sure.
Everybody else folds, so that's good.
All right, so someone's going to win this thing right now. We know this.
Actually, interestingly enough, in this nit game so far, somehow there have already been 3 chops of people with nit buttons in hold'em hands. And 2 times they ran it twice, and only the first board counts, and the first board ran out Broadway or a wheel each time. So it was but unrelated to anything. So I've got the black deuces. The flop is 7 of spades, 8 of diamonds, queen of diamonds. Yeah.
It's not great, but we're firing. We're definitely betting.
It feels like we have to take a shot, right?
Million percent.
Yeah. So I decide because of the player profile, he's not going to be super price sensitive, and he's not going to be thinking about the 150 in the same exact way that a pro might be. So I decided to go small, like charge myself not that much. I don't know. You're free to disagree with that because I think that's a shaky thing to do. But I went 35, just hoping that he had like
35.
a random.
Wow.
Hoping he just had like king 4 and it's just like folding,
Well, the best thing about 35 is that when he calls, his range is still pretty weak and we can blow him off things on turn and river. I think I would want to go bigger and define things a little more quicker. Not huge or anything like that, but around half pot. But so be it. 35. I understand the idea of not wanting to charge yourself.
One piece of it was also if he raises, I think I might just be coming over the top because I think with the situation, he never has a set and he never has the nut flush draw because he's going to 3-bet those pre-flop.
It's only 2 pair for value.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. So, I mean, that doesn't come up, but it would have been interesting to find out what would have happened in that spot. He calls the 35, and I'm thinking I'm going to barrel big on a lot of turns.
Come play with us on Clubs Poker. They have tournaments, they have ring games, and a 100% bonus if you use the code POKERGUYS or use our link in the description.
It is a lot of fun on clubs. I have been playing on clubs, and I have been genuinely impressed by their software. They have great games all the time, and redemptions go direct to your bank account. There's no crypto involved, none of that BS. It's a US-based company. Come play with us on clubs. We'll see you there. Feels like the right play to barrel big on a lot of turns. Not this one, though. It's the 9 of spades. So now it's 7 of spades, 8 of diamonds, 9 of spades, queen of diamonds. It's just like so wet and coordinated.
I mean, 9-10 isn't going to fold the turn anyway.
Yeah.
We definitely, if you want to bet to preserve a chance to fire on rivers, you can bet, but you would be betting small here for sure.
At this moment, I gave up the 150 in my head.
That's fair.
I was like, I am just check folding.
It's a terrible
it
card.
Sucks. I'm going to have to... Like, I don't want to just compound my losses here. Like, this is going to get bad pretty quick. Yeah. Do you disagree with that at all? You think?
I think it's fine to give up on that card specifically. Yeah. That's such a bad card. A straight comes in. Actually, a few different straights come in now I think about. Jack 10 comes in as well as the open-ender on the flop. The bottom end of the open-ender comes in, meaning the 9 completes it from the top. 9-10 is never folding the turn. Maybe it'll fold on the river if it misses, but I mean, now we've got to put in a lot of money hoping it's exactly 9-10. Yeah. Some 2-pair combos come in. I think it's fine to check here and be like, I'm done. Oh well, too bad.
Yeah. Deuces is just such a hard hand to win with. It's not like you want to have deuces in a deep stack cash game, but like when you're 2 left in the Nick game, that's not when you want the deuces. That's not the time for the deuces.
Yeah.
He somehow miraculously checks back.
What a beautiful, beautiful thing. You think he would be protecting his nit button a lot here with a queen. Yeah. It feels like 1 pair. It feels like a 9 or an 8 or a 7. I guess he could have like 2 5s in his hand as well once in a while. But a hand that a lot of rivers now, we should be able to win this pot if we bet big enough.
I agree. It feels like a 9 or an 8 or a 7 for sure. That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yep.
The river's the 8 of hearts.
Oh, God, our story's going to be so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
We have to have like an 8 that we would have bet the 8 on the flop. I guess we checked the 8 on the turn, but like now we have to have an 8.
Yeah.
I guess we don't have to have an 8, but.
It's queen 8, 7, 9, 8 with missed diamonds and missed backdoor spades.
Yeah. Is he going to, okay, is this guy, going to be sticky, do we think? Like, is he price sensitive? Give me some information about him now.
I don't have a super strong read on him. I don't have a super strong read on him, but I do think I'm going to have to go very big. Like, he's aware enough of the situation where he like auto pays 150 if he loses, right?
So we got to really make it expensive, right?
Right, and right now what we have in the pot is like $180.
Yeah,
so like I'm going to have to go like 250 at least.
I was thinking 300. And then it's such an absurd story. He might fold 2 5s, but it's an absurd story that if he really sits there and thinks about it, he should probably be calling with a lot of his 1-pair hands, honestly, because it's so ridiculous. And you're both so incentivized to put money in the pot here. You would play an 8 like this. I mean, you would, but you'd play all your bluffs like this, right? Like, pretty much. I think we do have to make it really big if we're going to bet. I agree. I don't know if we even should bet. But I think it's okay to bet because a 7 might find a fold if it's expensive. I don't think a 7 should find a fold, honestly. I think it should just like roll up its sleeves and be like, well, I guess I called. Let's see what happens. This could suck.
Yeah, I was concerned about that for sure. I thought there was a chance I was winning still. This based on this player profile, I don't think it's the right play, but I think he might check back king high diamonds and hands like that sometimes on the turn, or 10 high diamonds, hands like that. I think incredible. It's possible that I'm still winning.
Can he ever have a hand like ace jack? Pre-flop, call on the flop, check back the turn?
I suppose he can. I mean, obviously, 3-betting that hand makes all the sense in the world, but
it does.
It's possible with this guy that he does.
Okay. So that's another hand we're beating, which he might check back. But like, I don't know if he's but we have to, for him to check back the king high diamonds or something, or jack high diamond. Like, that's asking a lot. Like, he definitely should be firing all those hands when you check again, right? Like, because you have a lot of ace highs and hands of that nature, like you do.
Yep.
So what'd you do?
I check. And then everything that you said about my story now applies to him when he bets 300.
Oh,
he bets 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now he has to have like ace 8 exactly. Basically.
Yeah, he's got to have an 8. He has to have an 8, I think. An 8 that he didn't bet on the turn, by the way, which in this specific scenario feels like something that you would do. An 8 that he goes 300 with. And I don't think this guy is necessarily thinking of the metagame balance of I have to bet 300 with my bluffs and my value in this spot because of the 150 penalty.
Oh, I would guess he isn't doing that either.
So I think he's more bluff heavy here based on the size.
I would think so too. It's possible he could have turned to straight, I guess, and just be like, I'm going to check back and now trying to make up for lost value and know that it looks bluffy. I guess you could also once in a while be bluffing with a better hand, which is a concern. Like if he has 2 5s, he might not know where he is and bets. If he has 9-10, he might be like, you know what? I'm just going to bet a crazy amount and make you fold some of these other hands. 9-10 should really check back. But sometimes they do weird things in these games. I've been in these games.
I just don't think he has 9-10. Just thinking about
because it's just too much, right?
I don't think he has a medium strength. I don't think he has a medium strength value hand. He just checks and hopes he avoids the penalty. That's the real hope. Right?
I think even 2 5s should be like. I just win most of the time, right? You have like Ace X so much that doesn't have a pair, right? Like let's find out if I win. I think you're right. I hope it doesn't turn 2 5s into a bluff here. But so I guess this means you called.
Yeah, after thinking about it for a while, I think. Against some players who are a little bit like more professional type players, I might have to think about it differently. But against this guy, the sizing really made me feel like it was bluff heavy.
Yeah.
I also said something. I said, the thing that really sucks is that if he's bluffing, he has to show me. Because one of the rules of the nit game is in order to remove your nit button, you have to show your hand no matter what when you win the hand.
Yeah.
So and the way he looked at me when I said that felt weak.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it did. But he was like kind of stoic, and then he kind of looked at me when I said that in a somewhat weak way. So I did call, and he turned over the 6-4 of clubs.
So we win.
Yeah.
Woo! Why didn't he bet the turn?
I don't know.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
It's right there.
Like, any diamond, any draw, you would think. But you'd also you're supposed to bet like everything on the turn in this situation, right?
That's what I mean. By the way, he turns open ended, which is a miracle.
Yeah.
But forgetting about that. You call the flop not to get there. You call the flop so once in a while you get there, and every other time it's checked you fire. That's what you do when you're calling 6 high. Right. So it feels like a really big mistake.
I mean, he's not a pro, right?
Right. Of course.
He's like a guy who plays poker and enjoys it and is having fun.
Fair enough. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
But you can see how it's like he realized he's just trying to get there on the turn. And now he's like, oh God, I didn't get there, but I can maybe win anyway. And instead of being like, I'm telling a story here, and the story is I have a good hand and I'm betting the turn. And that way, if you call, I can bet again sometimes. By the way, I'm open-ended. I don't mind building the pot anyway a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Also, I have 6 high. Yeah, that's cool. It's a cool win.
Credit to him for finding a size that he thought would work on the river. I think his thought process there is good. I didn't necessarily believe that he would have balanced it with doing that with value as well. I mean, I could be wrong. I could just be wrong.
You're saying credit to him, but if he bets 135, are you going to call? I don't know.
I don't know. The math is compelling, as you know, Jonathan Levy,
it sure
Mr.
is
Math guy.
With the 150 out there that you have to pay, it's like a $150 bonus if you call and you're right, basically, right? So that is pretty compelling, and you're getting like 3-1, and maybe you have to call.
I think you have to go big when you're bluffing. I think the next step is you also have to go big when you have value, and he may have also gone big with value. I just didn't think that he would have. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, wow. I mean, that was like a miracle. It felt like to win that thing.
That is a good one.
Tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Missing practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench, trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick. So if knocking at my door, praying ain't tell. I'm studying her word prayer. Baby excel, got away with way too much. Should've got expelled, but the school saw my potential. Smart kid trying to rebel.